New Kyosho Mini-Z. Come on. And this is a receiver. Oh, dude, they come with freaking cones?
Dude, they come with 20 cones.
You're all going on a tone and less than 878.948. Right now I got Young in 1, Manhunt 2, Rose 3, Jones 4, Material 5, and Dokin 6. Fast lap so far goes to Steve Jones, 7.765.
Woo!
Not no 7.4, Stevie Jones. You guys are at a 45 lap pace. And I like to think the design of this track is started out with then so they can go in reverse. And what if they flip forward, they're going to do it the last one. Right now, Mannheim has the lead. Wells 2, Material 3, Ryan now down to 4. Jones is 5 and Dokin 6. Right now, Mannheim's 3/10 of the second lead over Wells. And Rob has a 4.7 second lead on Material. Ryan's 1 second behind Material. Jones is 2.7.
Oh, Rob for the pass! God, that was almost there. Okay, well, looks like we drank the Kool-Aid, guys. We drank the Kool-Aid. Well, is what it is. It was a lot of fun, though, let me tell you. Let's dive into why we got a Kyosho Mini-Z. What's going on, guys? Walter with the RC Addiction Vlog. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the RC Vlog. We got into Mini-Zs this weekend. We kind of knew this was coming. Our local track, Poor Boys Raceway and Hobbies, just got a new Mini-Z track, and it's actually a really, really big Mini-Z layout or track, as you can see in the videos that I posted in the beginning. We're full-bore Mini-Zs, I guess. And I don't know... Mark Santamaria's got the whole RC world right now just geeking out on Mini-Zs, which is really cool because I'll tell you what, it is a pretty budget-friendly racing and very competitive for what it is. It's kind of hard to explain, and I guess you don't really know until you drive one. I would really, really encourage people to get into the Mini-Z racing if you're looking for something budget-friendly. This is very, very comparable to like our Micro B racing that we do. Although our Micro B racing is quite a bit cheaper just because we have a huge DIY track layout. Most of it was all built with leftover parts, pieces, 3D printed pieces, stuff like that. So it's a little bit cheaper than what it costs you to buy the RCP track from A-Main or any of the big distributors. But there are DIY versions of the RCP track too that I have seen. So if you look up some of those ideas on YouTube, you can come up with some pretty cool DIY racetracks for in your living room, in your garage, anywhere that just got a small space you want to run some RC cars. Because these are very, very scale, the way that they operate, if you will, when it comes to their speed, their turning. So it doesn't take a very big layout to have fun or to get a little race going. So really cool. We ended up with the Audi R8. We just really liked, actually the reason I liked this scheme or this Audi was because the color scheme was licensed. I'm a huge license guy. So it's licensed by Bilstein and quite a few other people that it's stickered up with, which were sponsors, I'm sure, of this Lamaze car. The Audi R8 also looked a lot more aerodynamic than most of the other models that my hobby shop had in stock. So that was one of the other reasons. And then it's a cool looking color as well. And it's easy to see on the black track. Some of those colorways that they came out with, there's another Audi that's in like a black and maroon, which is pretty tough to see on the track, depending on if you have good eyesight or not, which I don't. And so these brighter color schemes work really well for me and seem to, help me quite a bit. So we're excited about the Mini-Z stuff though, guys, because of how inexpensive it is. It's also very, very easy to change a layout with the way that those RCP tracks work, or the other DIY versions of those connected puzzle piece foam sections, EVA foam sections, I guess if you call it. It's easy to do a track change, so you could do have multiple different layouts. You can have all this different cool ideas to come up with in a very quick amount of time. It's not like a big 10 scale off-road track that takes hours and hours to move jumps and change and whatever. So yeah, we were super excited for the mini stuff. We've talked about this before, guys, where the minis right now in the RC world are hot. And I say that because there's a few different reasons. Most of all your minis, I'll put air quotes around the word mini, because some things that are called minis aren't so mini anymore. But I would say the minis, micros, the Groms, any of those platforms, regardless if it's racing, crawling, drifting, doesn't really matter, right? It has a tendency to grab the very beginner RC enthusiast, and I'll tell you why. And it's because of the price point, right? So for $200, these little Mini-Zs are $189.99 depending on where you shop for it. They're about $200. I usually will just tell everybody they're $200. Okay. Now you do need a transponder, and transponders can vary depending on where you buy them. But in total, I'm about $250 maybe into racing by the time I bought the AA's, bought a AA recharging bank, which we'll get into that later. I'll do a whole separate video on the AAAs that you recharge for these. I know Mark Santa Maria's got a ton of videos out right now for the Mini-Z stuff. So I'm not trying to compete with any of that. I just, for my viewers, there is some definite benefits to getting a good AAA recharger and making sure that you pay attention to the specs of the charger and how quickly and at what voltage and wattage that they charge at, because some can charge much faster than others. So so right around $250. And then you guys have seen my Micro B racing, right? So Micro B's, I would say, is right about the same price. This is our little low C Micro B buggy, right? These right about the same price. You're in that two by the time you buy the car or the transponder, and then in that particular racing that we do, we allow a few upgrades because the Micro B is pretty, I don't know, the shocks are junk right out of the box, and so you can't really race the car as hard as we push them, I guess, if you will. So we do allow shock upgrades, and that's it. But yeah, it's just so for that first reason of why it grabs that beginner's RC attention is because of the price point. And whether it's a kid or an adult like myself, when I walk into a hobby shop and the guy working at the hobby shop says, hey, if you get one of these, right, you get a Mini-Z, you get a Kyosho Mini-Z that's sitting on the shelf ready to go. If you buy this transponder and maybe a different set of tires and some AAAs, you can come racing. And you're like, racing them, and most people don't even know that they race these things, right? Which is crazy to me. I mean, there's a version of racing for every RC scale, I think, and version of RC, whether it's, crawling, drifting, whatever. But it grabs their attention. It gives them something to hope for, and not just to buy an RC car, maybe run it a couple times and then let it sit on the shelf. It gives them some glimpse of hope that there's a place that they could use this, that there's a place that they can go use it more than once or twice a year. And based on the scale, they can use it indoors, right? Which, depending on where you live, like I'm in Oregon, I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and right now it is freezing. We are going through a cold spell right now, and I know it probably is not as cold as it is other places in the country, but for us to be down into the low 20s and teens for weeks at a time is pretty unusual. So having indoor racing like this is just absolutely perfect for where we live and this time of year. So that's the first rate. The other reason is because most of RCers, right, they're looking for a group of people to hang out with and run RC cars with as well, whether that be bashing, racing, crawling, drifting, doesn't matter. And when you give somebody the opportunity to come racing and grow new friends and grow the opportunity to meet new people, have new experiences in the RC hobby, it is so much easier for those people to be willing to spend their money. And I've realized it, and it's the same, I've got buddies that work at a big hobby shop in Medford, and they tell me all the time about how certain cars will sell way more than others. And then you start like diving into it, and it's like, it's because it's called a Mini, and it's because of the price point, and it's because parents don't want to invest $600 into an X-Max or a Notorious or a Limitless or a UDR or, any of these big bashers, even though that's what we love. Like there's nothing greater than a big old sledge or a big old UDR just ripping through a field, but nowadays when it comes to parents buying their kids these hobby toys, they're not going to spend the money on it. And when you can tell the parents like, hey, your kids can come racing on Tuesday nights for $5 and less than $200 into the car, like the parents are going to be more apt to do it, and they're more willing to invest the money. And like I said, to me, the racing side of it is not just what scale it is or how big it is or how competitive it is. Because I can tell you right now, I have just as much fun, if not more, racing my Micro B than I do any of my other platforms. And I would tell you that it's because it's a lot less competitive, of course, than any of my 10 scale stuff or 8 scale or any of that. Like, there's a reason that it's less competitive. It's because the cars aren't that great. It's hard to be competitive with the low C Micro B, but that is the absolute 100% point of it. So knowing that going into it, you're going to have a blast. And most of the time, because all your other friends know that, it becomes more of a hanging out environment or chilling with your buddies than it does become like, oh, I can't talk to you because we're racing, or I can't share my setup with you because we're racing. It's like, it's way beyond that. So Yeah, the Mini-Z thing, guys, I drank the Kool-Aid, if you will. We've all kind of been joking about it, and whether or not I was going to get into it. And I had the opportunity this weekend to make my way up there for their first race that we held. I mean, they've had plenty of practice days since the track's been down, but this was the first official race that Poor Boys had, which was really cool to be a part of, and actually to see the support. I think we had, don't quote me on this, but I think there was 11 or 12 of us maybe, which is really good for starting up a new version of racing at a hobby shop and then trying to get racing going. I felt like we did a really good job at that. So I don't know if you guys have ever messed with these things, but they are very, very cool, very inexpensive compared to the rest of the RC hobby, if you know what I mean. And yeah, just a hoot to drive. If you guys have ran, if any of you guys have ran a GT12R or GT12 on-road car, it's very, very, very similar to that, I feel like, as far as driving style, just because of the, I don't know what you call it. It's like the way the car handles. You almost are steering more with the rear of the car than you are the front of the car, or with, the front. A lot of dual rate adjustment, a lot of motor trim adjustment or throttle trim adjustments are huge for these things. So, and I'm still learning, man. What's crazy is we have a couple of club racers that are already like neck deep in Mini-Zs, if you will, and I like them going through everything with me this weekend for my first like even unboxing of one. Was like, oh, okay, whole new line of stuff to learn about here, and different things to figure out, different scenarios, different tuning options. It just kind of might working my way through that. So been kind of cool, kind of little something new, right? Everybody loves something new, something fresh and exciting. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys also check out the memberships. The memberships are live, and so is the Shopify website. Make sure the best way for you guys to support this channel is by shopping the merch available at rcaddictionvlog.com. And yeah, just hitting like on that button, making sure you're subscribed to the channel, because that's what'll keep you tuned in for all the good videos and content. So we will see you next time.